we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means, on infiltration instead of invasion, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. There is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it.
All right, welcome to episode 134 of the Abuse Hour. It is I, your host, Coffee Long, coming to you unsupervised, unmedicated, and an unchecked threat to society. So I'm not gonna say that I'm hungover, but I'm not hungover. That is for sure. And yeah, man, I had a chance to go play a little poker last night. You know, one of like the local fellas, some of the boys around the way, and hey, let's get together, do a little poker. And it was, it's a nice change, I guess. It's nice to get away from all the homosexual rigmarole, you know. So that was cool. Just kind of hung out and talked some shit. I'm not good at poker, dude. I mean, it's legit. Like, I'll tell you what I think, man. I guess there's some cats that are like, they got all the, you know, little tables and the formulas and all this shit all figured out. But me, I can't count to save my ass anyway. So I basically look at it, I like how I think any kind of gambling should be looked at, really, that like I'm just here to kind of hang out, just kind of relax, have a good time, have some drinks, eat some snacks, and that's about the size of it. And, you know, drink entirely too much, I guess, in this instance. But, yeah, somebody was breaking nuts in the chat this morning. And, dude, yeah, I know. I've been slacking. It's usually this time of year, things are a little bit slow. I don't have a whole lot going on. But this year, man, like I've been getting hit up to do all this, doing some stuff, traveling a little, but mostly like planning for next year. And I had somebody hit me up. They want to put together an exercise for, well, I'm not going to say where, man, but yeah, they want to do like a kind of a team building thing where it's like, I don't know, like heist related. You know, I'm like, man, fuck, dude. And it sucks because, you know, you go to all these different places and it's different people. And sometimes it's some, 65-year-old fucking guy with a fake hip and he wants to run and gun or some kind of shit. And I'm like, bro, I can't make it so you can walk. I can only do so much here. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm bitching, man. It's not that bad of a gig. It's a pretty decent gig. But it is weird, you know, what you end up doing. Because I got out. Dude, when I got out of the military, I really thought that, like, you know, as soon as you leave, right, I'm fucking operator, man. Like, my phone's going to ring and shit's going to go down and they're going to pay me $1 million to wear a tuxedo and carry a silenced pistol and I'll walk to and fro with a briefcase chained to my wrist or whatever, you know, like some dodgy shit. And no, man, that shit doesn't happen, dude. I think I got like 2 calls and they were both like, hey, how do you feel about going back to Afghanistan? I'm like, I don't think that's a very good idea at all. Because it's ass, dude. Like when you go back as, when you go as you know, if you're going to be like contractor or if you're going to be active duty, you know, at least you got something that loosely resembles backup. And that's, you know, it's still lame and there's still haircuts involved. There's like no upside, right? But if you're going to be out there, you know, at least if things get hectic, like the call's going to go out and the whole world's going to be on the way to like, yeah, we'll come help out, you know, we'll bail you out, whatever. But if you go as a contractor, like you're not bringing like super high-end weapons most times. You're getting whatever they give you. You don't know who the fuck you're working with. I knew one dude that, here's the deal, man. Like when I was in Afghanistan, some of the shit I was doing was like, it was on the dodgy side. And I knew a guy that had gotten out already and he was working for Blackwater. And I ran into this guy and I'm like, what are you doing, man? He's like, bro, I drive for the fucking agency, man. I'm like, all right, cool. And I can't remember if I told this story already. I've definitely mentioned this guy before, though. This guy he was bipolar as fuck, dude. Like, he checked out hardcore. And he was, like, either super on top of the world or, like, come at you with an axe, like, unstitched. And I saw this dude, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? He's like, bro, I'm fucking driving, bro. Just drives a fucking up-armored SUV around, picking up people, dropping off people, whatever. I'm like, all right, cool. And this was like the heyday. This was like at its prime, you know, when like Blackwater or whatever they were calling it then or since or whatever. They were paying like $1,000 a day for not a whole shit ton of work. Like they were paying nice. And this dude was talking about, bro, you got to get the fuck out. I was like, dude, I'm approaching this 20 situation. And this guy was so fucking wacky. He just got pissed off one day. He's at like 17 plus years. So like you're not gonna get a shit ton of money, but you're gonna get a little something. You know, he's like, fuck it, I'm out, and just rolled out at like 17 or 18 years. Like, okay, whatever. But now he's hitting me up and he's talking about, bro, you gotta get the fuck out. You gotta get your shit lined up the second you're out the door. You step in here, you're making 1,000. You're gonna be making 1,200 a day. This thing ain't ending anytime soon. And true, it didn't end anytime soon. But the way they were doing this shit was like, we're going to have, you know, have like whatever the fuck you're doing, man. You're driving, you're doing convoys. Maybe like one gig was like driving people from embassies to the airport or from airport to embassies or embassy to outstation somewhere. You're just doing these driving routes and shit. Or maybe you're personal security for some fucking, probably not some diplomat. They got a whole separate thing for that. But you know the kind of shit, man. So they were having like operator types like legit do this shit, but then it became like, you know, they'd have some nug that's checking IDs, and you know how people get, man. They're like, bro, I've been doing this forever, man. Maybe I help out. I can augment, you know, whenever you need a guy. And now this guy's riding shotgun, so now you got a bunch of dudes and one nug. And then this keeps happening. Now you got like 2 or 3 nugs and a few operators, and then pretty soon it's like all nugs and like one operator. And it's, you know, and you're just not to fucking totally thumb your nose at a guy, but it's like, bro, that's not a place for on-the-job training. Like, when's the last time you got shot at? Shot what? Like, no, dude, that's not when you want to start working things out. So it just morphed into this thing where they're kind of hiring dipshits, and the kind of the sequence of qualification was like, get over here, and because I'd made a few calls about this later on, that like, hey, you get over here and then you're going to do like static security, check IDs, and then when we get a look at you, I'm like, man, fuck you and fucking look at you. Like, motherfucker, look at my resume. Like, I'm not going to take a seat behind, you know, some guy that was like an aircraft mechanic and then decided one day he wants to run and gun. So, you know, it just, that shit got weird in a hurry. But I know one dude that got over there, and his deal was going to be, he was going to be like convoy security, I think for like mail runs. So like to go to pick up the mail and drive it to different places, like a fucking mailman with a gun. Cool. But he got over there and he's like, yeah, man, I got over there. I was the only operator. It was like a few like European dudes, a few other rando dudes, guys with no experience. They're handing you like these broke ass shitty rifles. They're giving you stuff in different calibers, which is fucked because now like, say you're in the shit and now your shit goes down and that guy over there is shot. Like, you can't go over there and pull ammo off of him. Or even if he's not shot, the guy can't throw you an extra magazine, right? Because all your shit is different. He's like, this is fucking amateur night. So he just like, no shit, turned right around and left. He's like, I'm not fucking doing this. I will not fucking do it. But yeah, I guess I can't say I really missed out on that. But, you know, that's what I thought I would be doing as I was getting out. But then I got into this consulting shit, which is cool in some ways, weird in other ways. There has been some stuff that's like, you know, it's kind of cool and you wouldn't expect to have gotten to do that. You get to put together little exercises and shit for regular people. I got to do, well, one of the things that had picked up pretty cool, and I'm not going to, like, faggots, listen all you want, man. I'm not giving you any fucking inside baseball. You're going to show up at my fucking door. I'm not running a fucking soup kitchen over here. But one of the things that I had started helping out with was like high value individuals, you know, like people with a lot of fucking money, like people with a lot of money, but you don't know who the fuck they are. Because, I mean, you look out your fucking window, dude. Like, everything you see that's really of substance, I mean, fucking satellite dishes, fucking mailboxes, you know, the asphalt on the fucking road, all of that shit. There's a fucking guy with a fuck ton of money connected to all of that shit. Somewhere down the road, there's a guy that made his fucking fortune doing that shit, like manufacturing it or providing it or servicing it or whatever. So the way this would work then is like you meet these people or you get introduced through a guy knows a guy, whatever, and then you're talking about like, I'm not going to be your fucking babysitter. I'm going to teach you a little how to take care of yourself. And you're talking about like keeping your fucking mouth shut, altering your times and routes, basic shit that a normal person kind of knows. Like you don't want to get snatched up, you don't want to get fucked up. These are some steps you could take. But like me and you, like we're, poor schnook ass motherfuckers. Nobody's like stalking us actively. But some cat with, 20, 30, 40 million dollars in the bank, that guy should probably watch his step, because if he makes himself an easy target, this shit's happening. So one of the things that we had put together was this deal where like they have like all these different clubs for these kinds of rich fucks, right? So they have these different little, get-togethers or networking events or this kind of shit, and put out to them like, hey, do you want to be involved in this thing, this, kind of a security exercise and, fucking risk mitigation and this kind of shit. And people are like, yeah, sure. So I'm like, okay. So talking to the people that are putting this thing together, I'm like, just send me their name and hometown, and that's all I need. And they're like, oh shit. I'm like, yeah, just fucking send me that shit. But so I get these people's names in, and all I'm doing is just open source stalking them. And all you can do, you can do this on the super down low if you want, like any of these fucking people finder fucking services. Like if you type your own name or your friend's name or your girlfriend's name or whatever, you just type it into the fucking search thing. It sees that it's a name, and it's going to spit out like, oh, you want to know about somebody? Well, here, pay $10 and you can know all about them. Like that's I ain't paying no $10, right? But what you can do, like if you're legit doing this shit, like as for a gig, like I was doing, go get a fucking prepaid card, turn on the fucking VPN, and now I log into this shit. I buy I don't give a fuck, buy whatever linked membership you want. It's a fucking prepaid card. It's gonna run out. Like you're not gonna keep charging me for this shit. So you get on here and you just start looking, man, and like, what's these people's deal? Look them up, find their Facebook, all that. You'd be amazed, man, at how much shit people will leave out there. So there was one dude, well, I'll get to that shit later, but so you're basically building a dossier on each of these people of like, what's their deal? What do they have? What do they like? What are they into? If you were going to strike up a conversation with them, what would you talk about? What do you need to be ready to talk about? Like one guy that I was looking at, he was into like Jeeps or whatever. Another guy was a fucking private pilot, all this kind of shit. So if you were to bump into this person, which we'll come to, now you just happen to say something about that, or you're wearing something that indicates an interest in this. Now suddenly you have like an in, and now you're talking to this guy. So the way that we did this was like whatever city we were doing doing this shit in, I would either know somebody in that town and have them work this angle. Sometimes we'd bring our own people, and then one time I actually put an ad in fucking Craigslist for role players. Like I just want role players, man, and I'm like, nothing weird, nothing sexual, no photos, no nothing. It's just for a fucking executive security exercise. You just have to be able to hold a conversation. This is easy. And people are like, all right. And people actually showed up. And it was like, I paid like $100 a head, dude. It was, and that's honestly super cheap. But so they showed up. And like the first thing I got to tell the role players is like, look, you're going to be talking to some people that are worth some money. Don't get some clever fuck idea that like you're going to get some kind of, leverageable information out of them and blackmail them some kind of way, because, the way that blackmail works only works if they don't know who you are and they can't do shit about it. So be fucking smart, and then have all these people sign NDAs that like whatever fucking happens here, you're not going to fucking run your mouth. Some guy says, yeah, my company's fucked. We're selling next week. Like you can't run out the door and tell the whole wide fucking world, because you're going to get fucking pinched on this. It's not going to fucking work out. They figure this shit out. So then all we did was we give people like a real basic level elicitation training. So for you, this is some shit that you can probably use, in your everyday life, insofar as like elicitation, dude. This is one, it's a way to get information out of people, but two, and in the times we're living now, is probably more important for you to know what you don't want happening to you. So the idea of elicitation is just somebody giving you information through like everyday casual conversation. So if you think about it, like you'll give up information. It don't take much, dude. Really, just the guy at the coffee store. Like, hey, how's everything going? Fuck, I gotta go to work. Oh, today on a fucking Saturday? Yeah, I work in whatever the fuck business. Oh shit, there you're giving up information. The idea here, though, is that most people, if they've got something they think they don't want to get spread around, they'll still give it up, but they'll only give up little pieces. But they won't fully have it in their head about, like, what pieces will I give up, what pieces won't I give up. Because you talk to one person, they might go down this road talking about how their company is in financial trouble. That's not a big fucking deal. Lots of companies are in financial trouble. They didn't tell you about what company they work at. They don't tell you about their position. They don't tell you about what might be coming down the road. They just say, yeah, the company I work at might be going under. Oh, fuck, that sucks, dude. I'm sorry. And you think that's no big deal because it's just this one small piece. You talk to some other guy now, and you talk about, what do you do? Oh, I'm I don't know, financial advisor or whatever. Oh, no shit. Oh, that's cool. You talk to somebody else. Hey, where do you work? I don't fucking know. For instance, Merrill Lynch. Oh, no shit. So now, though, if you take those three people and you put all that information together, and you could say this guy works at, in this instance, Merrill Lynch, and he's a financial advisor. Maybe somebody needs to probe a little further, figure out how high up on the food chain is this guy. And that company, apparently, according to him, is in financial trouble. Now you have a big, clear picture of what goes on here. So looking at each individual person, then what we're talking about is trying to get some of these little puzzle pieces. Then we're going to come and put them all together. And then the next day, we're going to present it to these people. They're like, look, fuck stick. You're talking too much. You got to be quiet. So instead of like just me talking about it the way I'm talking to you, the way we did it was like the night before these people would show up, we would have it where they're going to all get together. They're going to go to dinner. They're not meeting me. They're not meeting us. They don't know who we are. As far as they know, they're just all getting there the night before, and they're going to link up, have dinner, cigars, bullshit, some drinks, whatever. But whether that's at some restaurant, some bar, at the hotel lobby, that's up to them, man. And they're picking, which makes it work a little bit better. We're not steering them into a situation. So they go do this thing, and now we've got these role players in place. And we'll train them up on some basic elicitation techniques. And it's like there are people that are legit professionals at this, and they are fucking shit hot. But the basic shit, the stuff we would tell these people, we'd tell them, I'd go off of this acronym FIST, F-I-S-T, like I'm about to fist fuck you, right? But F-I-S-T, fix me, impress me, swap me, teach me. So this is just easy way, like during a conversation, instead of asking questions, because you get in here and you start asking questions, people start going, what the fuck, you writing a book? Right? So instead of that, you're going to go in here and you're going to do these things whereby you're making statements, but they're statements that are going to kind of provoke this person to say something and give you the information you want. So fix me, impress me, swap me, teach me. Fix me is I'm going to say something wrong about whatever it is that I want to know about. So if this guy is a fucking pilot, then I'm talking about, man, I had read that the most reliable aircraft, the one that, if people have their choice, what they have is this. But I don't know. I'm only just starting to learn about this shit. The guy will say, oh, yeah, it's the shit. That's what I have. Whatever. Or, no, it's not. It's actually this over here. And that's what usually works best. You say something wrong, and they're going to jump right in there to like, oh, no, dude, let me set you straight. Let me show you how fucking smart I am. So, oh, no shit. Oh, that's really something. And that kind of leads to the next one. Impress me. And everybody, like, dude, you know the deal that, like, there's groupies for everything, right? I mean, you could be remote control car guy, and there's groupies. You could be a pool player, and there's groupies. All this shit, there's groupies that like whatever the fuck it is. So if somebody, somebody's not going to deny themselves a chance to like, yeah, I want to feel good that like this person, maybe this person is like, they're impressed by somebody that's a hedge fund manager. I got a lot of fucking money. I'm a fat slob, but I'm like master of the universe. I'm calling these shots. Oh, that's so fucking cool, dude. You show how impressed you are, and they'll just keep fucking talking. The other one here, this one, swap me. This works a little bit better after you've been at it for a little while. And if you manage to get locked into a conversation where, especially if you're drinking, man, and you're drinking and you're talking and you're bullshitting, and now, like, you'll see this now that I'm telling you, you'll be hanging out and you start talking and people start telling crazy stories like, bro, this one time, this motherfucker, you wouldn't believe the crazy shit I see where I work. And where it doesn't even have to be where you really work. Make fucking something up. You know, at the bar that I fucking 10 bar at, they will bring in like this rot gut cheap ass whiskey. They will dump it in here and they will sell it at like $40 a shot, dude. But I mean, you can't tell nobody this shit's like on the down low, but you know what I'm saying. People do this shit. It's crazy. And they'll be like, dude, that's nothing. Listen to this shit. And then they'll start telling you shit that they shouldn't be talking about. And then last, the easy one, teach me. And then this kind of stems from the impress me idea. Like if you're somebody that, you know, and you have to kind of be able to speak knowledgeably about shit, like talking to a private pilot guy, like that's not my cup of tea. I don't know shit about it. You know, so if I'm like, bro, I was thinking of getting called as a pilot, like, oh yeah, okay, like whatever, what stage of the lessons are you on or whatever, like, I don't fucking know. I don't know anything about it. So it does kind of need to be something you know or have studied a little bit about. But if you've got somebody you're going to target and now you know that like, all right, this guy is a private pilot or he's an investor or whatever the fuck he is. Or his thing is race cars. He really likes race cars or soccer or fucking whatever. These are the things you study up on. So now when you meet these people, it seems like magic. They're like, holy shit, I met these people. I met this dude and we just hit it off. We were pals, man. It was real cool. So what we do then is we train these people up and it's like an hour. Talk to them for like an hour of like, here's like a natural flow of a conversation. Here's what a normal conversation should or shouldn't look like. Here's some ways to work this in. Work it in as statements. Don't work it in as questions. Don't ask more than 3 questions in a row. And they're like, okay. And it's what's crazy is like when you get women to do this, like every time I had women on as role players, and it's usually women. Women do good work because, you know, people want to talk to women. Some guy comes up to you, especially like, you know, some guy is like sleeved up or like looking kind of shady, comes up and starts asking you about your business. You're like, yeah, I'm fucking out of here. But get women to do this, and like women will always tell you, like, "Oh, I'm a great conversationalist." Yeah, this is all me, man. And you know, and honestly, it's like hot girls are terrible at this. They suck at this, dude. Because when they don't want to do it, they're just not gonna do it. And when the conversation's got to be about something that's not themselves, it's like, what did you find out? Like, well, I found he wants to come see me perform my one-man Hamlet or what. Get the fuck out of here. But there are some people that are like, I don't know, I'll do my best, and they are just fucking brutes. I had oh dude, where was I? I was in fucking Toronto in Canada, not a real place. And I had some people doing this shit, and these people were like friend of a friend type shit. And this was actually like, there was like friend of a friend type thing. And then these people brought this Russian girl. And I don't even know that she was actually completely Russian. I don't fucking know. She had a little bit of an accent, but yeah, so I just called her Russian girl. But so this chick was, I mean, a brute, dude. Like she'd be just sitting there with that fucking look like, I'm above this, is fucking boring to me. And then gets out there and gets into it. And I can just be at the place. I can be at the restaurant, the bar, wherever. Because they don't know who the fuck I am. I'm just some guy at a bar, right? And I'm hanging out and watching her do this shit, like just immediately switches to like ding, like ray of sunshine. Hi, what's up? I love your watch. It's so cool. Hey, look at you. What are you drinking right here? This is very cool. And just goes on and on. Like it has these people fucking worked. I had this other deal. Let's not talk about where that was, but I had these 2 girls that were working together. And they're talking to this guy that owned a major, dude, what the fuck would you call this? Not Buc-ee's, but something similar, I guess, was the way I understood it. But this guy was worth fucking money. And this dude had like wife and kids and shit, but we had this thing set up at this restaurant thing with, well, never mind. So it's set up at this restaurant thing. And then they're going to move the party back to the lobby at the hotel. And this guy's like, you girls want to go with? They're like, yeah, we'll meet you there. Oh, you promise? Oh, you guarantee? Oh, I'll be there. Sure enough, they show up and this guy starts, man. And these two girls were cruel. They were like cruel and unusual. And they got these clowns playing like truth or dare. and like just soaking up information off these dudes. Finally, this girl comes up to me. Like the deal was, I'd say like, all right, you come and talk to me when you're done. You feel like you've had your fill, or you're getting too drunk to remember things, or it's something gets weird, whatever. Just come and like tell me. And I have like 10 room keys to my room at the hotel here. I'll just give you a key. You go upstairs and you guys just wait. And then when everyone's done, then I'll meet everybody up there and I'll write out everything that you got. And then we'll be done. I'll hand you a stack of money and then you just go your way, whatever. And if you want to be there in the morning for the big reveal, then cool, you could be there. So this girl comes up to me and she's like, I think I should go. I'm like, oh, you all right? And she's like, that guy just offered us each $500 to go back to his room with him. I'm like, no shit. So, I said, all right, man. I give her a key. I said, just go up to my room and wait, and we'll, be done up here in a little while. So I get this shit all wrote up. And now the next day, this is the deal. Now, as far as these clowns know, like the exercise or the fucking event is starting now. And they're like, okay, what's this guy about? So now I start putting up like, all right, this is me. I'm Coffee. We're going to be talking about this shit. And I put up like I'd have mug shots of these people that were our collectors. So I'd have like pictures, like, and it's comic, dude, to see girls dressed like they're going to dress to go to a bar, but it's like mugshot edition. It makes it real fucking cool. But so I got these pictures. I'm like, does anybody here recognize any of these people? And you see the faces, like the gears are turning, like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. And then finally, the last slide on this one event, I click it, and it's these two girls sitting on a couch in my hotel room holding this big piece of paper that says $500. And I said, all right, I'm not going to name names. I ain't going to fucking throw stones from the glass house. But somebody in this room was about one selfie away from total empire destruction. So now let's talk about how we unfuck this and how we prevent this shit from happening. So some of the times, like, we'd have the girls like come by, the role players, and like, hey, how you doing? And just wanted to say it was good times meeting everybody in this, and kind of give them reassurance that like you're not fucked. You slipped up a little bit, but it's no big deal. So then we'd talk about, hey, here's how to keep your mouth shut. Here's how to identify these things. But that's what I've been doing now, man. And we're doing that for a while and it died off. And now I feel like with the, just kind of the general insecurity of things out there, it started to pick back up, and it's something people are calling, asking for, saying, hey man, could you offer something that does like this? I'm like, yeah, man, I can do so. I have just the thing, right? So that's coming down the pipe, man. But, yeah, dude, I last night when I went to this poker thing, there was a dude that showed up, and some of these motherfuckers that I play this game with over here, some of these cats are paid, man. Like, some of these people are high dollar individuals, and this guy shows up wearing a fucking Circle K polo, and everybody's like, where the fuck did you get that, dude? And he's like, man, I'm working there now. I'm a fucking manager there. And they're like, really? He's like, yeah, dude, I make like $1.50. I just manage Circle K, kick out bums once in a while. And everybody knew he was bullshitting, but it was still like that also became everybody's like, dude, that would really be sweet. Get rid of this bullshit job. Get rid of people fucking with me on the weekends. Get rid of the constant nonsense, all the shit I got to deal with, 50-hour work weeks. I'd work at fucking Circle K right now. Oh, that would be the shit. So, yeah, I started thinking about that the other night, man, and just with all this shit that these fucking clients constantly, and I was like, dude, I'd love to just go 10 bar and fucking call it a day, relax, sail off into the sunset, pour some drinks, talk some shit, tell some stories, pod some cast, or cast some pods, whatever, man. Thought it might be cool. Anyway, we'll have to look into that at another time, because for now we've got plenty to fucking deal with. So as it is right now, looking at the state of things, I don't know if you saw, man, but Secretary of War sounds like a serious job for a serious man. Unfortunately, we've got a fucking Slipknot with some weak sauce tattoos and a fucking slick back haircut occupying this position, and this guy, Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War, has called for, I guess, a shit ton of senior officers to meet up on Monday. I thought it had already happened, but it looks like the call went out Friday and they're supposed to be in there on Monday. And what that means exactly, who the fuck knows. What I did see, and here's where, I don't know, the wicket gets a little sticky, I think, is that I saw some talk where like, oh yeah, the Trump administration, they're talking about, giving the axe to a lot of, like dead weight officers in this, or say, some other perspectives that are like, oh, they're going to give the axe and replace these senior officers with people that'll better support Trump's agenda. And I'm like, dude, I don't know how to tell you this, but a cat gets to that rank, admiral, general, this kind of thing. They're already basically like bought and paid for. These people will do anything you tell them. Like you tell them, go do X, Y, Z right now, okay, and off they go. All right, these are fucking yes men. They will say whatever they have to fucking say to get that next rank. That's why they got permitted to get to that next rank. Like I and lots of dudes have seen this shit. You could work with dudes like some officers, and when they're like young guys, and you're like, motherfucker, I knew you when. Try not to forget this shit. And like, no, it don't matter. And by the time they start hitting those senior ranks, then it's like, oh yeah, I'm going places. And you're like, hey, what's up? And they're like, oh, that's Admiral so-and-so to you, or that's fucking Colonel so-and-so to you. And like, okay, I guess I'll just go fuck myself. Try not to forget, dude. I fucking knew you when. But they sell their soul and off they go. But point is that I think that this idea that, oh yeah, they're gonna meet up and it's gonna be a meeting with the Bobs, and like, what would you say you do here? You're gonna go in here and interview for your job again. I don't think so, dude. I am more inclined to think that there is something afoot. I think these motherfuckers, I've said before, like, I don't know how many times, I think they really, really, really need a war, dude. They really need a war, because that is the thing that gets this economy moving like no other. I've seen more than a few places where people have talked about, like, yeah, without World War II, that Great Depression deal, that would have been the fucking end of the show. There's no way you're fucking pulling out of this if you don't get Japan and Germany on the hook. A major two-front war, a multi-theater war, lots of action, dude. That's what it's going to take. I need this whole population out there. I need Rosie the fucking Riveter. I need fucking capable women out here fumble fucking with power tools. That's what's going to get this thing fucking moving. I mean, with a situation like that, I mean, that's not like get the economy back on its feet like shit. I mean, when you mobilize an entire population, I mean, I guess it goes a long way to explaining like the boomer phenomenon, where like this place should be set for decades. And I guess in a way it was, but what it did basically, I think, is spoil these fucking boomer kids. And they're like, oh man, I'm just, why can't we just get Mexicans to do everything? Why can't I just sit here and I'm going to fucking reverse mortgage my house and just drive around the country and take it easy? Because that's, you're just kind of coasting downhill, like never really bothered to contribute. But, yeah, I digress, man. So, yeah, what I think is that this is going to be a get-together thing, and they're going to be talking about where can we pick a fucking fight. Like, or maybe not even where we can pick a fight, because I think they've got enough options now where, like, they're looking at Venezuela for sure, but I've seen some talk where Venezuela and Colombia are talking about a collaborative type defense effort. Like, yeah, we'll come to your fucking defense, which would make them a prime target, because I also saw where Colombia was talking about, hey, somebody should do something about this Israel situation. It's going to require, and again, this was Colombian, I guess, government talking, that, this Israel, this genocide in Gaza situation, this is going to legitimately require military intervention. Somebody needs to do something. I'm afraid that somebody that's going to do something is probably going to be the U.S. stepping on their nuts. Say, like, yeah, don't talk about our parasite that way. I think that's a strong possibility. The other more likely possibility, more likely, I don't know, like the bigger picture, the longer term effort, I think, is centered around this Iran situation. So these snapback sanctions are scheduled to kick in, and the essential idea here is that, Iran had been playing ball with these demands, these requirements, these agreements, this deal that they would not be developing uranium for weapons grade usage. So to whatever degree they were or weren't, whatever, I don't know for sure. I couldn't say. I could say for sure that Israel and the U.S. have been fucking with them nonstop for years. So I don't know if you remember that Stuxnet program. If you heard about that, I think the official name for it. There's a documentary somewhere called 0 Days, but it's about this program. I think the program was called Olympic Games, and the idea was that they got a computer virus, got it somehow, because I think the Iranian nuclear facilities were in a standalone mode, but somehow got this virus into this fucking thing, and it would make these centrifuges like just keep fucking spinning, like you wouldn't be able to shut it off, and then they would basically self-destruct. So, I mean, it's like constant fuck games, like nonstop. And now this last time around, apparently the IAEA was basically acting as the eyes and ears for American and Israeli intelligence. So coming back out, talking about, all right, here's what we saw, here's where this is, here's where that is, and essentially facilitated all of those strikes on those nuclear facilities. So following that, Iran said, hey, why don't you go fuck yourself? You guys get the fuck out of here. We're not doing this shit anymore. And U.S. and Israel are like, oh, no, you're going to be in violation. And they're like, you violate these nuts, dude. Fuck off. Like, you just bombed the fucking place. What else are you going to do? Fuck you. So they kicked out the nuclear inspectors. And Bibi wanted to go straight back. Well, I say he wanted to go straight back at it. Who the fuck's kidding who? Because he ain't going straight back at shit. He's going to get, Trump, get the Americans. I'm going to have my golem go in here and strike back at you for the security of the Jewish people. But apparently the Trump then says, no, we're going to give them 60 days. So I guess that's, 2 months ago. And now I believe whatever the fuck day here coming up straight away, these 60 days are going to be up, and we're going to be back on the bubble for this thing. So the question then remains, like, can you pull this off? What are you going to fucking do? Because I'm sure they haven't just been sitting there for 60 days just waiting to see what would happen. No, they probably started getting shit fixed up, kicking out inspectors, getting shit ready to roll, because they know, like, they hit us once, they're probably going to fucking hit us again. So what are you going to do then? Like, have you talked to Hezbollah? Have you talked to Hamas? Have you talked to anybody? Have you talked to the Yemenis? Those fucking ballers. So, yeah, these Houthis, man, big tip of the hat. These are some big ball dudes, man. Anyway, I digress. But, yeah, that I think is on the table, and I think that would time pretty nicely with Netanyahu in here probably speaking to Congress at some point in the next week. He just had a talk at the UN. The guy got up there at the UN, and I'm sure you've seen this, but if you hadn't, guy went in there and everybody got up and fucking left. So it is heartening, I'll say, that, like, yeah, watching this motherfucker, like, for us pattern noticers, like, we've seen this shit, early on, and like, this guy is no fucking good. These people are no fucking good. Unfortunately, it took a whole shit ton of dead non-combatants for everybody else to look at it and say, like, yeah, these people are pretty fucking shitty. But, better late than never, I guess, right? The noticing will continue. But I think that's where this goes, is that Netanyahu's in town, gets in there, gets a good stroke job from Trump, from everybody else, and then they're going to come out maybe next week, maybe the week after, and we're going to start talking about, like, okay, here's the next war on the table. Remember to sign up, Goy. No day like today to die for Israel. So we'll see, man. What I will say, if you're a young dude, keep one foot in the stirrup, man. Start thinking it through, making plans, like, what will I do and where will I go? Because dying for Israel is not a way to live, dude. That's just what I think. Anyway, why don't we take a quick break and let's hear something from our man in the field, our main man Marcus, and we'll be back in a minute. Yeah, and once again, man, I this week I promise, dude, theme music. I promise. So until then, you get this.
Tea time, motherfuckers. Lord Marcus here, coming at you. Increasingly in real life, and this is echoed in a lot of the chats that I watch, including Coffee's chat. I'll be having a conversation with someone, a normie, and they will express a certain amount of concern about electronics, basically. About I don't think they see it as a security thing, but like getting annoying spam calls and getting annoying ads. That's really about all they care about. They don't take it to any further, conclusions about data sharing or security or anything like that. And by and large, among normies, there tends not to be much consistency either, right? So just this morning, a guy wouldn't use Square, the app Square, which is payment processing app platform, whatever it is, because of security issues, right? And then I don't know, 40 minutes later, he used his watch, his Google Wallet on his watch, to buy something at a store. And it's like, well, doesn't Google Wallet have like catastrophic events every 5 days or something? So there's not really much consistency among these people. But I left, I decided at the turn of the year, so end of 2024, I wanted to at least pilot a minimal digital, footprint, have phones that basically the IMEI, the device number for that actual phone, the thing, was never linked to Google. That's the big kind of security, risk. And I decided I was going to get off Windows, move to Linux. I didn't really know anything about. I knew Linux. I mean, I used Linux as a student and stuff, but I didn't know what was out there at the current time. And anyway, so I went in. Obviously, I own several businesses, so I always have extra phones as part of company plan, so to speak. So I just kind of sequestered a few of those. And the first thing I did was mess around with Android alternatives, I guess, or secure forms of Android. Android, as it is delivered in a commercial phone, it's the same underlying operating system as, say, Calyx or Graphene. It's just, I guess, tweaked in a different way, right? So there's quite a few out there. I tried one called EOS, which I thought was perfectly serviceable. I tried one called Calyx OS, Calyx, and again, that was, adequate. And I think by far the best was Graphene OS, which is a well-known one. And I had three phones that I was using different levels of security on. I had one phone that was completely de-Googled, so not even like, I forgot the technical name, but sort of like spoofing Google, like had absolutely no connection to Google in any capacity whatsoever. I had one that was not directly connected to Google, but accessed Google through like a third-party service, spoofing kind of service. And then I had one which was Graphene, but it was fully Googleized, I guess you could say. And my reflections on the smartphones, ultimately, even with the completely de-Googled phone, you could get it to do whatever you wanted. But it was, more difficult because you'd have to like change settings, and maybe you'd have to get an older version of this app that you need or you want to use for something. And it became more of a process trying to do anything on the phone. Although ultimately you could always get it done. I always found a workaround. The middle one, where you use micro G and kind of Google surrogates, really you would never notice. You would never notice that it's not linked to Google. But of course, the downside of that is, well, maybe they can't access all of your data as they can with a OEM phone, but they're still getting most of it. So why bother? Why not go all the way if you're going to do it? And ultimately, I decided I was going to keep the really stripped down de-Googled phone as a backup, I guess, or as like kind of a personal phone, a fun phone. just because in my business life, I reverted completely back to OEM Android, just because it's so much quicker. And a lot of the industries I'm in have some kind of like proprietary apps, and there aren't workarounds. And I'm not a programmer. I'm sure I could develop a workaround, but fuck, I can't, I can't sit around for 3 weeks trying to figure out what fucking hash whatever thing this app needs. So I went back to just full commercial Android on my primary phone, which is my business phone, and then I kept this second kind of personal phone completely de-Googled. So it can be done. It was not nearly as difficult or tedious as I was expecting. I am by no means a tech person. I mean, I'm good with tech. I grew up with a computer. So I think we got our first computer when I was like 8 or something. And the modem, you had to take the phone, the physical phone that you were just talking on, and put it into a cradle, and like it made these sounds to transmit the data. It was fucking barbaric. It's amazing how far we've come. So I've been around technology my whole life, but I'm not really that interested in it. I certainly have never studied it. I understand it pretty well, but I'm just not interested in it. And I found it almost easy to do this. So if it's something you're interested in, by all means, go for it. I used those 3 phones for about 6 months. Yeah, I think I got them started in November and then ended in May or whatever it was. So if you're interested, I would encourage you to do it. The real fun part is, it's fun if you can have a second phone and fuck around with Calyx or Graphene on that second phone. But I would also say don't get your hopes up in terms of the level of security it can provide. Ultimately, at least from what I've concluded based on my research, if they want to find out who you are, they can. There's nothing you can really do that short of a cache burner, which are hard to find these days. And the real benefit for me was that there was no ads. Like no company could even send you an ad. They wouldn't know how, right? It was a beautiful thing. It's like, I think how phones are supposed to be. None of the apps had ads. It was just totally interfacing, with the technology. It was great. The computers, I ended up, not just for me personally, but my whole office, we switched to Linux, and I have no performance computing needs, so I chose Linux Mint after fucking around a little while, although apparently there are better options. And I messed around with one called Devuan, which I really like, because there's, I don't want to get too nerdy, but there's an element of Linux that was developed by DARPA and Jews. I'm not making this up. So there's this function called systemd, and it's very Jewish, and a lot of racists and Nazis avoid distributions that use systemd. It's a long story. You gotta read into it. But anyway, so I can assure you 100%, there is no difference between Windows and Linux Mint. Like you can run any program, at least that I've tried to do. I don't play games, so I don't know how that is. But anything I ever wanted, I could find without even thinking about it. I think it's easier. The controls are essentially the same. The menus might be placed differently or something. It's kind of like halfway between a Mac and a Windows computer. But I love it. I don't think I will ever go back to Windows. And what I discovered is that you can get laptops, really nice performance laptops, on eBay for extremely cheap because they have no operating system for whatever reason, right? They never got one at the factory, or they belong to some company or the military, and they just removed the operating system and they're selling the, bare or just hardware. So I picked up a few extremely powerful laptops for literally like $200. Probably, probably $2,200 laptops for $200 just because they don't have an operating system. And Linux is free, so I just put Linux on them, and it's awesome. It's a wonderful thing. I think if you're one of these guys who's worried about security and technology, I would say if I could advise myself last year, I'd say, well, first just do Linux Mint. Try that. It's an afternoon. It's kind of fun. You feel cool. You feel like a hacker, badass. You get to learn how to do stuff cool. You get to download Telegram and all your other shit. Start there. And if you can, get a second phone and put graphene on that and kind of get used to it. I can tell you, if I didn't need all of this proprietary software, I would probably have kept the graphene thing. But, there's also other things like I'm in the car a lot. I need very quick GPS shit. I need voice commands. So I don't know. I think my life is just too urban and fast-paced to not use a normal Android. But if you're a more mellow lifestyle, you don't have really sophisticated phone needs. Graphene was like 92% the way to just a normal Android phone. I really liked it. Anyway, I told all of these stories in the chat some time ago, but I thought I'd record them as a tea time in case anyone is thinking about these things. I'm Marcus, out time.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, Marcus, our man in the field. Before we continue, I want to do the kind of obligatory, the stuff I always forget, man. If you want to try this, this particular podcast can be found anywhere, Apple, Spotify. YouTube is even somehow still up. It's probably still up because nobody watches it. But if you want to catch it any of those places, if you want to catch this as well as some bonus content, just extra stuff that I just put, exclusively on the Telegram, you could check it out there, t.me/theabusehour. You can also get on the chat from there, which is a pretty good scene. I also want to give a shout out to Above Time Coffee. Above Time Coffee put together by white people for white people. Put it in a cup, put it in your mouth. It's for you. All right. So continuing, man, like the last thing I guess I kind of wanted to wrap up on was this Erica Kirk situation. And man, I really have had just about my fill of the Charles Kirk distraction. I feel bad for the guy, I guess. I mean, he ain't feeling anything right now, but I mean, I definitely feel bad for his kids. That's fucked up. But I mean, since then, dude, I've also seen all manner of just fucking craziness where, and I honestly think this is distraction. This dude, Stu Peters, I don't know so much from this dude. I don't completely know what this guy's deal is. I'll be straight with you, and you tell me what you think, but the initial impression that I get is that this guy is fucking 9/11 Twin Towers hologram selling motherfucker. Like, this guy is coming up with some screwy shit, dude. This guy's coming up with his fucking lapel mic blew up and fucking put a hole in his neck, and that's how they fucking did him. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, come on, bro. I'd seen, I think they were talking about it on InfoStormer, and they were talking on there that somebody had looked at it and said, yeah, this video, this product that you're showing me to demonstrate this thing, this video has been fucked with. So maybe you bring in a proper video, a fresh video, and we take a look at that. But what you're showing me right here, this isn't anything. The other part of this to me is the what they're calling the crack bang analysis. So the crack here again being the hypersonic crack from the bullet going by, and then the bang, that sound of the gunshot actually hitting you. So the bang is always gonna hit you later than the crack if you're at any distance here, right? So that bullet's gonna go by, moving faster than sound. You're going to get that crack, and then a little while after is going to be that bang, and that distance between is going to give you an idea if you know what kind of a round this was. You're going to know how fast it was going, and that's going to give you the idea of, okay, well, how far away from me was this round fired? And using this is how they're getting all of this information, like in this Ian Carroll video that came out, getting this information about the shooter from the position of this filming, from the position of this recording, would have been X number of feet away based on the crack bang analysis. Of note is the fact that this was, if you're looking from the audience, this was somewhere to the left of the podium or the speaker or the target in this case, like to the left and behind. That's where all of these crack bang analyses seem to place what would be the shot. This idea of the exploding pager, this to me is the exploding pager, the fucking exploding lapel mic. This to me is. This is cock and balls, dude. This is, quite honestly, this is UFOs. This is fucking holographic fucking airplanes and this shit. I find it to be horsecock. I don't know how involved that dude is with that. I don't really know shit about that dude. I just find this take to be unsavory. That's my cup of tea on that. However, other takes that seem fishy, might seem wazoo, but do warrant a little scrutiny, is this Erica Kirk situation. I don't know, I can't remember her proper, whatever, maiden name, but some stuff has come out that, one, raises considerable suspicion. So the idea here was that her mother and father are both involved in the defense industry. Her father is allegedly part of the Israeli weapons department for Raytheon. Apparently, she first encountered Charlie Kirk during an Israel trip and has known Donald Trump since at least 2012 when she was, Miss Arizona or some such beauty pageant fucking thing. So she knew Trump through the fucking beauty pageant thing. Folks are in the defense industry. Allegedly first met Charlie Kirk in Israel. It starts to look fishy right out of the gate. Moving forward a little bit, there's this deal that she was involved with called Romanian Angels, which has since been accused of human trafficking, organ trafficking, etc. One thing I do want to caveat on this, though, I would like to know more about this. The stuff that I have seen so far does not quite make the cut to me, and I'll tell you why. Some of the stuff I had seen was that they're talking about her being in Romania as part of this thing, and there's a picture of her with the local American commander of whatever base that's right there, whatever U.S. military facility is right there. And they're talking later about how this base commander was somehow suspected of human trafficking or doing something with young girls, underage girls, this kind of thing. And so that must mean that he is involved in proper human trafficking, organ trafficking, etc. But that's all they said about it. So look, man, I am more than willing to hang a dude by his heels if he's involved in fucking with kids. However, I think it is important, just like with this exploding lapel mic shit, like not to get sucked down a rabbit hole of flimsy fucking evidence. And here's what I mean. So way back, I want to say like pre-2010 at some point, there was a kid, a Marine kid in the Philippines who hooked up with some girl, banged her, and then suddenly people are busting in going, "What are you doing? She's a virgin. She's underage. What have you done?" And they want to hang this fucking guy. This guy hauls ass, gets back to the embassy. He's like, "I don't know what the fuck just happened." And they're like, "What the fuck did you do?" And the Philippine government wants this guy out of there. They want to try him. They want to fucking lynch this fucking guy. "You fucked this young girl. She's a kid. Oh my God. You took her virginity. Her pure as the driven snow. Fucking, all this shit." This kid has to hide out in the fucking embassy for like 3 years. Finally, it comes out that this girl, bunny ears girl, that he banged is actually a 20-something-year-old woman. And the way they're working this scam is that this woman, I guess, looks young, as some Asians will do, right? They look like 14 or 40, 18 or 80, right? That's how some of them just are. But looks young. So goes out here presenting herself as like, "Well, I'm a little young, but I'm telling you I'm 18. Ha ha ha, he he he." So now they wait till this girl's on her period. She hooks up with this guy, goes back to his pad, he bangs her. "Oh my God, what happened?" And now, just as this is happening, through the door comes two people claiming to be her parents. "Oh my God, what have you done to my daughter? Oh, she is a virgin. Oh, you have violated her." And now they're calling the cops. Or We'll call the cops, or you can make this right, give a little money to the family, and everything's going to be okay. So you see how this is fucking playing out? So the idea was they're going to shake this kid down, going to get him to cough up some money, and now we're just going to, okay, we won't say nothing, but you stay the fuck away from here. And then the kid goes on, feels like he got a lucky break, and that's the end of it. This kid didn't go for it, didn't give him the money, hauled ass, and now, as things in that part of the world do, it snowballed into this imagination land bullshit story where, like, oh yeah, he really did bang some underage girl. Oh, we have to go and find him, and now it's this big international incident until finally this woman and these people admit, they're like, yeah, it was a fucking scam the whole time. Ho, 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 ho. But you're never going to hear anything else about that. My concern with this thing is that this is very, very possibly, and I don't know any of these people. I have never been to fucking Romania. But Romanians do have a reputation, right? Obviously, not all Romanians. It's fucking retarded you gotta even say that. Not all Romanians, right? But, yeah, it is not beyond the pale that maybe this dude was out. Maybe he took one night on a weekend, had some of his boys get him out. Maybe he got a little liquored up. Maybe he didn't even bang some chick. Maybe, he got a lap dance. Maybe he didn't do anything. Maybe he was shithoused and she showed up at his room. Who the fuck knows? But it's not, it's not a fucking big leap to imagine that, like, yeah, from there it becomes like, oh, sir, you violated me. You have violated my honor, my family virtue. I just need some money, sir. Please to giving me money. Who the fuck knows? Anything could fucking happen. So that's why this thing, when I hear like, oh, it's this. Okay, cool. I'm willing to believe that. But bro, bring me fucking something more than like some sad sack music and one fucking image of a woman with some kids. This could be fucking anything. This doesn't tell me shit. Don't bring me a fucking Romanian newspaper as like, look, it was right here in the Romanian newspaper. Like, oh, well, that's obviously reliable. I'm sure you're not just in this for the fucking dollars American. So that's just my thoughts on that. But the thing that really rubs me the wrong way about her, I guess, is just this big fucking smile. Like, I've seen a few things here now the last few days where it's only been a few weeks. Yeah, it hasn't even been a whole month since her husband got fucking publicly executed, and now she's on news shows, on podcasts, making the fucking rounds. And I could see, like, if times is hard and you got to make ends meet and you got these kids to raise, but this broad ain't poor. This woman is not without. Like, you're out here doing this for some other reason. And when you see her, when you see the pictures, the other reason becomes pretty obvious. I mean, I thought it was kind of hokey. They're like, your husband just got killed. This is your last moments with his dead body, and you're going to carve out time for fucking selfies. Like, hey, make sure you get out over there where the lighting is good. Okay, cool. Yeah, now take it. Okay, I'll start crying. Okay, go. It's bullshit, dude. The fucking the talk at the memorial service where I guess Charlie Kirk's parents weren't even fucking there, and it's like a goddamn pro wrestling fucking deal. And she's up there fake crying. I didn't see a fucking tear. I mean, maybe there was one and I just didn't see it, but I didn't fucking see anybody actually crying. I heard a lot of ooh, ow, like she's getting stopped by the cops with no license or some shit. Oh, why you doing me this way? So already it was hard to fucking stomach, but now when I see her on these shows and I see the big smiles and the yay and just this general demeanor, and now this to me stinks to high heaven. And I'll tell you why. Because you could tell me that, like, well, she's being that way, on purpose, because she has to be. And she's trying to keep spirits up and trying to be a good example for other people. Or maybe that person in that moment said something funny. Okay, that's all fine, well, and good, dude. But there's kind of a trick to this where when you talk to people, like if this was something I picked up, like interrogating people on Target, there's like what you could call an emotional bleed over. So when you talk to somebody, if you're talking to somebody that didn't do shit, right? You got somebody in here and they didn't do a fucking thing wrong. And you start leaning on them and you're like, you motherfucker, you piece of shit, you're going fucking down. They're going to be fucking pissed, or they're going to be like really down in the mouth. Like, I can't fucking believe this. Like, my fucking luck. I didn't have anything to do with this. And according to this guy, they got me by the balls. This fucking sucks. What am I going to do now? They're going to be either really pissed or really distraught. That's going to be their emotional state. Guaranteed. They're going to look that way. They're going to sound that way. But a guy could also be faking it. You know, he's really, how the fuck dare you? I'm an upstanding citizen. Or really fucking bummed out, like, oh man, I'm so sorry this happened, but I didn't have shit to do with it. You know, it's hard to fucking tell which is which here. So a way to identify this is, you know, to identify who's faking and who's actually feeling this way. What you do here is you shift the situation. It's like, hey man, that's all right, because I'll tell you what, I don't want you feeling like this all night. So I had some, whatever you fucking said earlier, you wanted a hamburger, you wanted a Coke. I got you a hamburger and I got you a Coke. Not that shitty diet stuff. Look at this, solid Coke. Huh? Good? Huh? Now you're going to see like, hey, thanks. Now that emotional bleed over has gone away. Where like you were like, no shit, you were bummed out, you were sad, you were staring at years in prison, but now all it took was like a Coke and you forgot all about that shit. Like in a real person that's really feeling a kind of a way, when you get on them, they're that fucking way. And now you come with a fucking Coke, like what the fuck is this? If somebody like knocks the thing off the fucking table and they're like, I don't need a fucking Coke, I need you to fucking listen. Okay, all right, well now I see this person's serious. But if you're going to come to me with like, oh no, I'm just fine now, like you were this way, that's what you're showing me. Oh, I'm really pissed, or I'm really sad, or I'm really something, I'm really feeling some kind of way. But now suddenly, boop, you're back to this thing. Like, whoa, so this over here, this didn't really have any kind of hold on you. That was just kind of very superficial. And this is the same thing I see with this chick. Oh, I'm sad. Oh, I'm crying. Oh, my life is crushed. Oh, every time I close my eyes, I think of him. But then what does it take to get you laughing and giggling? Oh, we were talking about going to this town. We're going to do this rally at this place. Going to have this fucking show. Now you're going on this fucking thing. What's next? Who are you meeting with? What's going on? All that other stuff that you said was so fucking embedded in you. All of that. Oh, I'm just crushed. Oh, I'm just sad. Oh, I'm just crying. Oh, that shit's gone. Poof. It's gone. Just like a fucking guilty motherfucker pretending to be upset that he's being wrongly accused. And all it took was what? A couple jokes? A little laugh, and you're in there like just smiling like it's your time in the sun. Yay, hey, what's up, everybody? Hi. Fuck you, man. So to me, that was kind of an indicator that, and I ain't saying that like, I'm not saying that like she's involved in this shit, or I'm not making any allegation like that. All I'm saying is it's something, one of these puzzle pieces don't fucking fit. All right, that's all I'm fucking saying. Does that mean that she's not neck deep in it? No, it doesn't mean that either. Does it mean that she's a superficial bitch? It's very possible too. All I'm saying is something doesn't fucking fit here. This story is fucking dog shit. And it's been dog shit this entire time. Like, here's this kid, shot this guy, fucking all of a sudden disassembles this rifle in 10 seconds, runs over here, rifle disappears, he disappears, leaves a tool up there that he needed to put it back together in the woods, which I just saw this the other day too, that the woods that kid ran into is owned by a company that's owned by Palantir. Like, what are the fucking odds of that, right? Anyway, I think that's, I mean, do you need more proof that we're just living in a shitty simulation? Maybe I really fucked up at some point. I'm already dead and this is purgatory. And purgatory is just a dog shit simulation. It's lame. It's the fucking lamest. Anyway, I've had about as much as I can stand, and you probably have too. So if you dig this shit, leave it somewhere where people can find it. Feel free to share it with your friends. And until we talk next time, keep your eyes on the horizon. Keep your neck out of the noose. I have been Coffee. These are my takes.